before we had this meeting, I was watching a David Bowie documentary about the last 5 years of his life. And again, you got this idea that he knew exactly how long he had, and he had a bucket list of things, and he knew that if he, and there is a quote in there that he said, the worst thing would be to look back and think, oh, I wonder what would happen if I had done that. So he went out and did everything that he wanted to.
Yeah.
And that, to me, is living now. Don't worry about what
That's
the outcome of the album is or what the outcome of the musical is. Just do it. Do the best you can. And what will be, will be. You have no control over it.
yeah. Well, we watched just as you saying that, we watched a few weeks ago a documentary on Freddie Mercury after watching Bohemian Rhapsody. We watched a documentary after it, and it was Brian May was saying that once Freddie knew that he was not going to be in this world for much longer, he had never seen somebody work as hard as what Freddie did, particularly in the last year of his life. Now, Freddie didn't know it was his last year, obviously. He didn't have the date, written in front of him of when it was ending. He knew that he had limited time, but he worked incredibly hard. And Brian May had said to him, and it's one of them quotes that you kind of, certainly the conversations of the documentary that stuck. He says, I remember going in and Freddie had collapsed in the studio, and they helped him up, and he says, no, we're ready to go back in again, we're ready to go back in. And he was like, Freddie, there's no need. You've written more music than anybody else on this planet as far as we're concerned. You've got enough music here to fill 10 albums. You don't need to keep doing this. And he turned to Brian and went, I've made music, but I'm still not made my legacy.
Yeah.
And again, it's like he knew. Now, I don't care whether you're a Queen fan or not, or a Freddie fan or not. The reality is the guy left a legacy. Mm-hmm. So, did he leave a legacy in the last year, or did he leave a legacy in the 20 years on the run up to that year? And it goes back to that. We've discussed that. How long does the bamboo plant take to grow? Is it the 25 years for it to actually grow 10 feet tall, or is it the last 2 years it takes for it to sprout out and actually grow? And that's, there is, it stuck to me that the guy actually knew that maybe he knew was the time that he had left, he could create a legacy. That was what the potentials he seen. I'm not too sure if that last year of music could have been absolutely rubbish as far as he was concerned, or as far as we were concerned. But what he did was he made sure that he put in as much hard work as he possibly could. And to be fair, he left us, for me, and this is a personal part that I don't normally play, but he left us with the song Barcelona. My God, that is a song and a half. That is just musically is unbelievable. To think that somebody sat and thought about that tune and lyrics and combination, and I still listen to it now and think that it's just a combination that it shouldn't work, and it does work, and it's unbelievable. Unbelievable that was written by, I know it wasn't just him, but it was written by a guy who wrote another track that may never have even made it onto its musical scene. You know what I mean? Which just goes to show that it's not always about that one particular song. There's a magnitude of different ones that other people would like as well.
Yeah.
One other thing just to note, that I mentioned, you were mentioning earlier on about your train of thought that you had, the lots of thoughts coming in and not being able to put them in the right place and things like that. I'd been worried and couldn't figure out a way to do my decking this week. Sounds stupid, but for the past 3 weeks, I've thought about doing it. I had the materials there, but we had a couple of issues in that it wasn't standardized decking that we were doing. And because of that, I couldn't figure it out. It was like a maths equation. The more I thought about it, the harder it became. The more I thought about it, the more complicated it became. And I wrote it down. I was sitting at night times, and a thought would come and how it would work, and I wrote it down, and it didn't really work. And again, and it didn't work. And then I would go to sleep, and I would wake up. I'm not lying here. I would wake up at strange o'clock and kind of go, maybe that'll work. And then got up, and rather than write anything down and rather than figure anything out, I actually started. I put a bit of wood down and I drilled it on the pretense that I could undrill it. Okay, I could take that screw back out again, but I put the screw in and I drilled a bit, and I went, well, that looks better, obviously. So I'll put that next piece on, and I'll put that next piece on, and I'll put that next piece on, and then it came to the bit that I was really concerned about, and actually by the time I got to it, it was all to do with the fact that it didn't line up, because we've got concrete that's squint to the actual platform that it was going on. And whereas I thought I'd measured it and thought there was going to be a lot of room, but by the spacing that I'd used, which wasn't particularly calculated, it was just a spacer thing that I'd used for in between, rather than calculating the actual millimeters of it, I just used a spacer, and I actually just opened it up a little bit more and then just left that for all of them. And by the time it came to the end one, rather than it being a big space that wasn't a full bit or not, it was stuck in between. Actually, all it was just left a couple of millimeters, and I had extra boards that I'd forgotten that I'd ordered that I had anyway, and I just put one on that side, and it looked really, really nice now. And the end join is done, and we've added stuff. And I thought about it as you were speaking about it, because it took me 3 weeks to get started, and I didn't start because I couldn't think of how to get it finished, when realistically all I had to do was start it. And I'm sure that somewhere along the line on our coaching idea is it's actually just looking at one step in front of you rather than the whole picture. But this goes back to what I was saying right at the beginning. We know all of this, and yet there's you thinking, maybe I shouldn't do these videos anymore because I'm not getting feedback. And there's me sitting up at night trying to figure out how to do my decking, when all I had to do was put a board down and screw it into place, and then put the next board down and see where it takes us. Now, I didn't have that idea tonight as a metaphor or anything like that, but after I'd done it, Fiona came and went, wow, I thought you were just like having a look at how you were going to do this. That looks fantastic. Do you reckon you'll get it finished today? And I went, yeah, I should get it finished today. And she was like, wow, I thought that was going to take you weeks to do it. Well, yeah, because it would have taken 3 weeks to think about it again. And it still would have been that I eventually would have just put a board down, and there we go.
Yeah.
Sorry, there's my metaphorical story that I didn't even know I was coming with that tonight. See? All this ad-libbing. It's brilliant.
For anyone watching, stay in the conversation, and you will learn so much when you don't realize you're learning it. Would you agree, Steve?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So until next time, bye for now.
Bye.